The question I get asked most often about this production of the Nutcracker is, don't I get sick of doing it every year? No, I don't. I love the music. I love working with the dancers. And I really like trying to come up with ways to make the show a little more exciting every year. This production was originally designed for the Long Beach Terrace Theater back in 1983. But I keep adding more stuff so I don't get bored. I tell our marketing people not to give away all the excitement of the show in the TV commercial, but they say that's not a problem because we wouldn't be able to afford a commercial that long anyway. Most of the scenery elements for our Nutcracker were designed by a fellow named Elliot Hussein. He is a Disney guy. The good news is that the audiences always gasp every time the new scene appears. The bad news is it takes a large warehouse to store it in and then 2 semis to move it. I think the costumes for our party scene are some of the most beautiful costumes I've seen. They were created, and I mean created, from top to bottom by an Australian designer. His name is Adrian Clark. He also spent a week working with adult dancers teaching them how to handle these extravagant dresses. It's a lot harder than it looks. People say that one of the most memorable moments in our show is the growing tree. It starts out as a regular-looking Christmas tree in the parlor, then it grows to over 60 feet high. Of course, you can't see the whole thing because the stage is not that high, but you get the idea. I think what makes that scene change so memorable is that the whole thing happens right before your eyes. It's sort of a magical transformation. Then the battle starts between the Nutcracker and his soldiers and the mice. It starts out with this huge bang that's guaranteed to wake anybody up who wasn't paying attention up to that point. The battle scene is one of the funnest scenes in the ballet for me. I wanted to make it really chaotic, like a real battle. A lot of pyrotechnics and action so that there's always 5 things to look at. It's also the perfect build-up to the serenity of the next music, where the Nutcracker magically turns into the handsome prince. In the snow scene, that's the first time there's real corps de ballet dancing. This is where the quality of the dancers is put to the test. At the end of the snow scene, the prince invites Clara to ride with him in the magical sleigh to the land of the Sugar Plum Fairy. Our audience would never forgive us if we ever did the scene without that huge shower of pyrotechnics at the end. But after that huge spectacle, we have to match that somehow when the audience returns to their seats after the intermission. So I decided to give the musical overture for Act 2 a little visual punch with an angel scene that's really quite beautiful, I think. My favorite moment in the ballet is when we open the curtain to the Sugar Plum Fairyland, with Rebel, our own white stallion, making his famous guest appearance. The scenery is so beautiful and the stage is so full of color, it always makes the audience go, whoa, when the curtain goes up. The scenery was originally a 3-dimensional piece that was very heavy, and it took several men all through the intermission to move it. When the Guangzhou Ballet from China bought this production a few years ago and started performing it in Asia, they painted this whole scene on a backdrop, and it looked more beautiful and 3-dimensional than our actual 3-dimensional set, so I had them do it for us. When I was a dancer, I remember thinking about the Arabian dance as being boring because it was so slow and long. I mean, how do you fill up such a big stage for such a long time without putting the audience to sleep? Well, we've got 100 square yards of China silk and some magic that does the trick. I love it when the couple disappears and everyone's guessing that they're hiding in the platforms at the back or something. Nope, that's not the trick. We have students as young as 4 years old in our production, and that's a challenge, but the audience loves them. I think it's important to keep changing the look of the stage during Act 2. It all takes place in the Palace of the Sugar Plum Fairy, but that can get really old really fast. There's a lot you can do to keep it visually stimulating, especially with lighting. If you're going to bring a prop onto the stage, it has to be something that the audience is amazed by. They should be wondering, oh my goodness, how did they do that? Or where did that come from? The audience doesn't pay money to see things they could do themselves. For instance, when Mother Ginger first walks out onto the stage in her big dress, no one could imagine how many children could possibly be under there. It's kind of like the old clowns in the Volkswagen gag. I remember seeing that once when I was a kid. Waltz of the Flowers is my favorite dance. It's the one dance that's only about the dancers themselves. This is where everyone sees the quality of the dancers of the Long Beach Ballet. It's obvious to me that Tchaikovsky put a lot of love and passion into this dance. As a matter of fact, I spent 5 years reworking the choreography until I finally felt that the dancing was completely attuned with Tchaikovsky's music. And leading Waltz of the Flowers for the past 3 years, including this year, is Melissa Sandvik, who we're all very proud of, because she's the first ballerina to make it to the finals of So You Think You Can Dance. Melissa grew up right here with us at Long Beach Ballet, danced with Milwaukee Ballet for a few years, and then came home and is now on our faculty. Every year our cast includes dancers who are famous on the world stage. We've had gold medalists at international ballet competitions, stars from the Bolshoi and the Kirov ballets, and many, many more. There's always that crown jewel of exquisite dancing in the Grand Pas de Deux at the end of Act 2. We've had a lot of star power come through Long Beach Ballet in the past 27 years. What can I say? It's been a great 27 years, and I'm looking forward to 27 more, if I make it that long. The pride of seeing a couple of hundred dancers from Long Beach Ballet on that stage at the end of the show in front of a standing ovation of 3,000, what better feeling than that?